My name is Rowan Bruce, better known as Brucy, and I'm the house manager for Avant Gaming's League of Legends team. So my day-to-day tasks are looking after the boys in every aspect. I do all their managerial work, all their paperwork. I look after the house, basically make sure they get from point A to B and, they don't get banned in the process. So we've been here for about 6 months now, and the experience has honestly been great. It wasn't anything like I thought it was going to be. I thought, how 8 20-year-old guys going to get on in the house? We come from different backgrounds, different walks of life. I hadn't even really spoken to the guys before I moved in, I think like once or twice. So I think everybody came into the house with, different preconceived notions of me and me of them and everything like that. But no, we really clicked as soon as we got into the house. Of course we have our disputes just like any housemates would, but yeah, it's been really great. So the hardest thing about being a manager is probably finding that fine line between, boss and friend. There's very often disputes between myself and the player, on maybe I think they have to do something for Avant, or maybe they want something from Avant, maybe we have a clash on timetable or something like that. So you really gotta balance that line, and not be too biased towards the players, but then not be too biased towards the org. You really have to act as that conduit between them both. So that can definitely be challenging, but I'm pretty lucky with the group of guys I've got. After 5 o'clock, it's like any other job. Work ends and all the disputes at work are left at work, and we just get on with it. The thing I enjoy most about being a manager is probably getting to work alongside the players. When I quit playing competitively in Counter-Strike, I was a little bit, not depressed, but sort of regretful. And I still am a little bit to this day, that I never saw how far I could take it. I sort of got to the semi-pro level and then, threw in the towel and went off and did admin and manager work. But being this closely involved with it really makes me feel like I'm, on the forefront of it, and that I am a team member, not just a manager. I go to OPL with the guys, I'm in the green room. I'm there for all the meetings, I'm there for all the team huddles, the team talks. When they win, it feels like I win. When they lose, it feels like I lose. It's really a sense of mateship, and like I'm part of the team. So that's probably the thing I enjoy most.
Everything's fine.
So on any standard OPL day, it depends if we're playing at 3 o'clock or 6 o'clock. But generally we wake up a couple of hours before we need to go. The guys will go and play a couple of solo queue games to warm up. I'll head to the shops and get some snacks, get some bananas, lollies, snakes, all the good stuff. I'll come home and we'll get ready. Normally the guys, last split the guys had to take their gear. This split they don't. We have gear at the Riot office, so thankfully there's no more cases of Miles forgetting his gear or leaving his bag of gear on the bus. Everything's just there ready to go. So yeah, I'll call the bus a couple of days beforehand and he'll come to our doorstep, pick us up. We jump in. It's about an hour-long trip, and the guys like to focus on the bus in. Everyone's listening to music or meditating or focusing on the day and getting ready to play.
Gotta be a pop. Twist. Pop. This is Nate feeling. The Egyptians, the Romans, the Celtics, and all standard teams. Intergalactic, interdimensional, space demons.
In the words of Wesley Collier, I like those Challenger jackets. Do you think you could call Riot and get me one?
What the fuck He didn't actually say that.
You did, I'm telling you.
There's got to be a pop. Fucking hell, how is he real?
We're off to the studio. Ching. Yeah, not bad. Just ready to beat some Sin gamers. Yeah. Yeah.
Is going to be candidating Sin as their jungler in our game number 1. Sin taking on AV.
You just eat him up, spit him out,
Here
and
we
now
go.
look for the lockdown. Jake is stuck behind the Weaver's wall. Blinky's forced to flash. Curtain Call comes out. They'll throw out Jake to pick up the first kill, and the crit comes out as well. Roma gets another double.
Here we go, collapse in the bottom lane. 3 members are here.
Let's see what they can do. Immediately destroying Triple. He just got Jensen right there.
Yeah, he certainly did. Tried to dive through, hadn't even used the ultimate, just was not enough health, and all of a sudden Sybil's in big trouble.
Gets exhausted before the knockback comes out. He's still trying to waddle his way away, but FBI aggressively forward with the captive audience. Perfect execution from the AD carry.
And we
the
keep
FBI is going for that turret kill. He's been locked down though. Galio comes out, Rogue flashes on forward, but FBI dies immediately. There's going to be a 4-on-5. Good hook onto Doppler. Blinky is just kiting away everyone. Roma though will flash after and pick up that crucial double kill for Sid. Still alive somehow. Will eventually get shut down by Triple. No ultimate available for this Echo, but will still keep on charging forward. 3v3. Jake is really low. Still gets a great hook. Double kill picked up by Triple. That was across the map, getting engaged upon by Doppler.
Here comes
Roma.
Blinky and here comes Triple.
Looking to try and go for this fight. Roma taking a lot of damage. Blinky doesn't flash on forward. Rogue is teleporting down with his ultimate. Blinky's now caught out. Captain's audience connects. Knocked out by Doppler. Will take the Dark Passage out. Juice is charging on forward. Has Galio in his back pocket. Gets the Ragnarok. Strikes down. Jake is the next target. Triple is now abandoning his mission. That's a big crit from FBI, who gets another kill for himself. AB lose 4 and Sid are going to try and push for the win.
And it just did not.
And with their early game action, especially with Roma going huge in this game, Sid will pick up the first match against AB.
And honestly, you have to look at that.
We were pretty confident going into it. Obviously, we wanted to redeem ourselves after our performance in the Gauntlet last split. In the pick ban phase, we got pretty much everything we wanted, everything we've been practicing with all week, but we made a pretty poor play early on trying to kill Olaf, and then we just funneled into a corridor and got absolutely destroyed by Talia, and then they kind of snowballed off that. We made a pretty good attempt to come back in the mid game. You know, it really that game really showed that they aren't a good team. They really struggled to extend their lead and close out the game with the huge advantage that we had gifted them early on. I got to play the Thresh into Tar matchup. It's a really fun matchup because it's really positive. It has like both sides of the matchup have positives. Like I think the later the game goes, Thresh is just better. You know, his hook's cooldown is lower than Tarm's eat, but you know, Tarm can get around the map early. Yeah, so we all kind of played pretty poorly in game 1.
Series is now chasing. Doppler going to get caught first blood. Actually picked up by Triple. That was a surprise kill there.
And all of a sudden, Doppler's in so much trouble.
Yep. No mana. Ultimate available for Orianna. Does have flash. Shockwave comboed out with the stun. Doppler's a dead man walking. Series gets that kill. Right, may actually fall. Juice taking a lot of damage. Goes in. Simple. Very aggressive there. We'll be able to get back out. FBI's now being locked up by a bubble and the tidal wave. Trying to flash away from this one. Good headshot from Blinky. It will be tricky. But Blinky's been caught out. Flash forward from Juice. We'll get locked down by Sybil. Great kick in the Piltover Peacemaker. Picks up that kill. FBI now in trouble. Roma tanks up the ultimate from Caitlyn, keeping FBI alive a little bit longer. But now he's been exhausted. Dodges the bubble, but Series slices and dices on in. Roma desperately trying to run away. We'll get the Storm Raider surge. No, it's actually Death by Touch. He's picked up shots on towards this turret, which is going to fall. Shockwave grabs Roma, picks up a nice kill. FBI's trying to run for his life, but Blinky's just flashed on top of his face. Will eventually fall. Sybil gets that kill. Series jumps in to pick up another for the team. Juice has gone down. All 3 inhibitors are going to be broken. AV pull up a great game against Sin here in game 2. That will take us to game number 3. Roma just getting a little bit of extra star points here after being taken out twice in a row. But AV pull it back. It's now
Game 2, they decided to heavily target my champion pool in the ban phase. Didn't really work out. We got the early Renekton pick again, like blind pick, and they tried to counter it with Jace, which is one of Doppler's like main champions coming from America. So yeah, they just targeting this like the champion pool for me. You know, they got a strong 2v2 bot lane, but they left their other sides of the map open due to that, and we just created like a snowball. Renekton can't really be stopped once he gets like a slight lead. We just pushed into their base and just took it out really. So Evan's computer just there was somehow a key binding on his mouse. Like somehow, like the profile at the Riot Studio, there was like a key binding that was Alt F4, and so he accidentally he somehow hit that, and his computer just turned off. Like he must like double tapped it or something. So there was like a bunch of random key bindings on there. So we had to pause for like 20-25 minutes, and I think we're like the first team to use the chrono break thing in OS. I've only seen it once before in America as well, so that was weird. Oh, but then there was like a power surge, and then our the 3 computers in the middle turned off, and then they had to like white balance the cameras. So yeah, we're a disaster to play against. We have so many pauses. But, you know, that game was pretty easy. It's pretty much what we expected.
Juice's bottom. AV in some trouble. That's a flash forward from Rogue. Good exhaustion to Jake. They're going to lock down the Thresh, which is a smart move, but can they get enough damage? One more eat. Can he get him? Can't get the eat down. First blood picked up by FBI, but Blinky turns it around.
Still going.
He's got... I don't think so. I think Reimer's a spam heavy mid lane. As we talk about that, their FBI's being caught. He's trying to deal as much damage as possible, but Juice is going to try and charge in and help out his team, but instead he's just running away. Reimer is that next target. Rogue flashes for it, but he might have just cost his team another kill. Reimer does get spat out and destroyed, and AV just leave him to die. Blinky flashing aggressively forward. Juice is dead. Rogue has his hand on his head. Double kill picked up by Blinky, and that's 4 kills for AV. Turning the game. They're actually going in for an engagement. Sybil jumps on towards Juice. Pops the Ragnarok very early. Locked down by captive audience. But look at Jake just waiting patiently. Goes at the ball. Gets FBI after Rogue. Eats up the jungler as well. Sybil is going to get so many resets off the back of this. He's unstoppable. That's a dead catfish as well.
That actually might be the game. All of a sudden, the 80 carry's dead. That is so much of their damage. Ryoma also going to fall down to Sybil here. Goes into GA. Doesn't really care. Stop chasing.
Repeat what they did in Split 1. Go 2-1 against Sin in this best of 3 series.
I mean, that man on your screen should be very happy. He's had the best game he's had all split.
Yeah, so and then game 3 went kind of how game 1 was supposed to go. They opted to first pick the Renekton that time though. They'd obviously adapted to our priority in Champ Select, so we had to play Gragas into it. I think it was Gragas, I want to say, yeah, Gragas, Kha'Zix, Ari, and that game was like a real big, like it like really showed how it was the same like bot lane matchup again. It was like Jhin Tahm? Yeah, Jhin Tahm into Kalista Thresh, and basically once Tahm eats someone, or if he misses, like, you know, he eats the wrong person, then Thresh just dominates the matchup. They didn't get an early lead. They weren't able to snowball with Tahm's ulti into the mid game to move around the map. And I got like a couple key picks in the mid game on Jhin, which led us to get Baron, and yeah, we just won. It wasn't too hard. They like what we did in game 2 compared to what they did. Like we opted to play the tank into Renekton. They opted to play the carry, and you can't really play carries into Renekton because Renekton just has too much 2v2 pressure. So we just opted for the tank matchup, and we just out-team fought them and out-rotated them in the mid-game. Okay, so now we have a 2.5-week break, 3-week break, because the top 3 teams from last split are going to the Rift Rivals event in Vietnam, I believe, is the OS one. I think it's like Oceania, Japan, I want to say Garena. There's 4 teams. I'm not quite sure what the other one is. But yeah, so it's just like a mini international tournament in the middle of the year, which would be really cool. It's much better than just like MSI or an IEM event where only one team would go. This time we get to send 3 teams over, which should be really good for the exposure for, you know, like younger players or even just older players to, you know, get a taste of what things are like, and they can bring that information back when they verse us. So over the 3 weeks, we initially took a 4-day break. So some people went home. Yeah, I went back to Melbourne with Pinch to visit my girlfriend. And then we came back on the Wednesday, so our game was on the Saturday, so Sunday, Monday. Yeah, so 3.5 days, 4 days break. We came back on Wednesday and we went straight back into scrimming. As it's a 3-week break, a couple of teams are taking a bit light, but we're planning, so we're only really doing half days, but we're still focusing hard on like VOD review and, you know, looking to get all that we can get out of it, even though 3 of the better teams are overseas and we can't scrim them. But we still have Chiefs and Tainted Minds and Abyss. They're still pretty good teams. There is a strong possibility of the dog coming back if people do some cleaning up after him and walk him. So if you loyal AV Life viewers want to see Kobe back at the house, you're going to have to abuse Giles, Brucy, and everyone else on the team to clean up after the dog and not just fight him and play with him.